I designed a triangle scarf for you, which I named Poseidon, as its soft waves wrapping around your shoulders. There is a written instruction in our Knitaholics shop. So we start with a cast on of 2 stitches. Next row, wrong side, you double every stitch by knitting it through the front loop and through the back loop. Front loop, back loop, and the same with the second stitch. Knit through front loop, knit through back loop. Next row, right side, knit every stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next row, wrong side, double the second and the stitch before the last stitch. So knit 1, double the second stitch, and double the stitch before the last one, which is the next stitch in this case. All the edge stitches are knitted. Next row, right side, knit all the stitches. Next row, wrong side, knit 1, double the second stitch, knit, knit and double the stitch before the last one and knit 1. And right side, knit all the stitches again, and now you place a marker on the right side, so this helps you decide if to double on the wrong sides or if to just knit on the right sides. Now continue like this, always double the second stitch and the stitch before the last one in every wrong side row, and knit all the stitches in the right side rows until you have 24 stitches on the needle. Now after the last increase, you knit 1 right side row and 1 more knitted row wrong side. And now you continue with a rib stitch, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, over 12 rows. So now again on the right side, you make a cable with 12 stitches in front of the work, so half of the stitches, 12 stitches on a separate needle, on front of the work. I fix it so that I don't lose stitches. And now you knit the next 12 stitches in the rib stitch, knit 2, purl 2, and pay attention to work the first 2 to 3 stitches very tightly. So, and now you knit the 12 stitches of the separate needle, again rib stitch, knit 2, purl 2. So, and here you see it's a little tricky, so it's good if you have stiletto needles, very pointy needles. And it's good if you have a very elastic yarn. You have to hold your needles very shortly. So now one wrong side row, rib stitch after the cable row. You'll see the stitches are still very tight. But it's becoming better with every row. And now after this wrong side row, another 10 rows in rib stitch. So 10 rows in rib stitch, knit 2, purl 2. So now right side on top. You may cut the yarn with approximately 20 centimeters. And you put this first part aside. And you start over with a second element. Same as with the first one, cast on 2 stitches, double them on the wrong side, knit on the right side, on the wrong side again double the second stitch and the stitch before the last one, and so on. So same as the first element, but you don't cable and you only knit 10 rows in rib stitch. Then you cut the yarn with about 20 centimeters, and now you put the second element on to the left side on a round needle, to the left side of the first element. And you guess it, you're now going to knit a third element, which we'll put on the right side of the first element. Now you knit this third element, same as the second one. Increase until you have 24 stitches, and then 10 rows rib stitch. So here we go, and again right side on top, and you don't cut the yarn now because this is your working yarn for the next rows. So you put the third element to the right of the first one on the round needle, so this is fast forward. And now you have all the stitches on the round needle. Now for the next, we did only 10 rows for the last 2 elements, because we will use the next 2 rows for connecting the 3 elements. It's very easy, we are just doing a little trick by crossing 2 stitches. So we start with the regular rib stitch, knit 2, purl 2. Every element has 24 stitches. So knit 2, purl 2, fast forward now. When we come to the last 2 stitches, we will cross the last and the first stitch of the 2 elements. So purl 1, and now you purl the second stitch, which is the first stitch of the middle element, purl, and pull it over the stitch before. And now you just continue with knit 2, purl 2. So we crossed the last stitch of the right element and the first stitch of the middle element. This will prevent the stitches to become loose. And 1 wrong side row in rib stitch. Now again on the right side we are going to cable again. Now we will cable the outer elements, so the first one, the right element and the left element will be cabled, but now we cable to the back of the work. So 12 stitches onto the separate needle, but to the back of the work. And the working yarn should be in front. I made a mistake here, having the working yarn in the back of the work. It should be on front of the work. And again, the first stitches, try to work them very tightly. So 12 stitches in rib stitch, and then the stitches from the separate needle. Oops, I lost 2 stitches. I'm catching them again. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Gotcha. So to the back of the work, and now knit the stitches from the separate needle. So you see, a little tricky with so many stitches to cable, but it doesn't get worse like this. Then no cable over the second element, just work the rib stitch, 24 stitches, and cable again over the last element, again 12 stitches behind the work, now you see the working yarn, the working thread is correct now in front of the work, And now the 12 stitches from the separate needle. And the edge stitches are always knitted, also with the rib stitch. So now one wrong side row rib stitch again, and after that 10 rows rib stitch again. And then you start over with 2 new elements, which you will add on the sides, and next time you will cable on the first, the middle and the last element. Again, cable to the front. Written instruction, written PDF pattern in our Nadelspiel shop. Enjoy!